you're cutting out just a little bit, so I might have to ask you to repeat some things.
All right. Thanks for joining, everybody. Today we've got Dennis Smith. He has a plethora of sites and Facebook groups. I'm going to share those links with you in the comments on the side here, which are specifically focused on helping online course creators, online course instructors to promote and sell more of their online courses through various promotion sites, discounting and using coupons. Huge amount of success instructors are seeing using these different strategies, Dennis. Thanks for being with us. Today we're going to be talking about a whole range of tips really when it comes to selling, promoting, marketing your online courses. But we're going to particularly obviously bearing in mind your expertise and the groups and the sites that you run, Dennis. Let's talk about the strategies behind couponing and discounting.
Yeah.
It is a little bit of a controversial subject. You know, there are some people out there that say you should never discount. It's the worst thing you could do. There are other people that say you should never give stuff away for free. I've certainly got my own opinions on what I do and don't do. But, you know, the point is that all of these strategies are being used and they work for people in different ways. So let's have a chat. I mean, would you like to first of all just tell us a little bit about, you know, how long you've been in the online course sales creation sort of sector, what your experience with being an online instructor is about, and then we'll get into some strategies.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know, like on your end, if I'm cutting out, but when I'm listening to your intro there, you're cutting in and out some, and so I don't know like where it's at in the connection, because you know how Blab like sometimes likes to play tricks. So am I coming in okay for you right now? Am I cutting out? Okay, so I might have to ask you to repeat some stuff, but I pretty much heard like most of what you said there. So I've been doing online courses since July of 2014, and I kind of came across them through a friend of mine who is actually a digital nomad. Her name is Connie Brentford, and she's actually from where I'm at here in Idaho, but her and her husband are now in the UK because they love to travel and they make their income from writing. And she created an online course on Twitter strategies for authors and told me about this website called Udemy. And I was already developing a course for WordPress, which is one of my passions. And so I started checking it out. My first course went live July of 2014. So guess what? We're actually, now that come to think of it, today is the 12th. So 2 days from now will be 2 years since I've been doing online courses. And I put that first course out, and it took me a while to get, you know, like my second, third, and fourth. And when I started putting those courses out, I went into what's called the Udemy Studio on Facebook, and I saw a lot of instructors were asking for advice like, okay, I've got my course out, so what do I do next? And so I had the same kind of question, and I love marketing, so I started doing research and started finding these coupon websites that are out there and started thinking like, well, if they're doing it, why not me? And so I came up with my own. So I've been kind of doing that ever since then.
Appears we've just lost Dennis by the looks of it. Okay.
Uh-oh, did we lose you? Did you lose me?
There. I'm just going to see if he's actually still in. I can't see him from my side at all. Oh, you are there? Okay, I can't see you or hear you. Dennis, if you just keep going, I'm going to come out and come back in, but you keep going.
Okay. So hopefully everybody can hear me. So anyway, I started a website called onlinecoursecoupons.com, and that was to help instructors promote their courses, specifically Udemy courses, because that's what I was doing at the time. And I wasn't really aware that there were all of these other sites that you could promote, or excuse me, that you could actually create online courses on. So now there's sites like Skillshare and Teachable and some other sites, and we'll talk about that when Sarah comes back. But the reason why I did that was to help instructors and also participate in Udemy's affiliate marketing program. And so that way I could not only earn the income from my online courses, but actually earn some income helping others promote their courses too. And so I started looking at other coupon websites that were out there and compiling a list that I did. And I'm not sure if she had posted that yet. It doesn't look like she's posted that yet. But if you're an online instructor, what I did is I came up with a list of these different websites that instructors can post coupons to, so that people who are out there looking for deals on these online courses could actually come in and find coupons for those courses. Let's see if we get her back here. Blab sometimes does this. I actually do Blab myself for a show that I was doing with another Udemy instructor, and sometimes it can be a little bit fussy. So let's see if she's going to call back in again, and hopefully we'll get her this time. While we're waiting, where is everybody? Where are you at? So she's trying so she can hear me. So where are you joining us from? You can go ahead and type that over there in the live chat. I'm actually near Boise, Idaho, in a smaller town in southern Idaho, which is in the Pacific Northwest. That's where I reside. I grew up here. I was born in California. What is going on with Blab? Getting all kinds of messages. Central Jersey? Awesome. Can you hear me, though? You can hear me, right? Can those that are watching hear me? So, okay. Yeah, Sarah can hear me, but for some reason,
I can hear you fine.
Is being fussy. Yay! Can you hear me? Oh, see, that's much better, too, because before you were cutting out, so hopefully it's not going to do that. So I was just telling everybody kind of like where I kind of got the idea to do like online course coupons. So I'll let you pick up from there.
Has been working really well for me in terms of getting my continued sales. So one of the things that I do is it took me a really, really long time to begin with, but I did a whole load of research online, and I found as many of these online course coupon promotion websites that I could possibly find. And there are so many out there. So yeah, I went onto Twitter and I found all of the Udemy pages and online course pages where you can promote your coupons, and I listed them all in a massive Word document. Then I went onto Google Plus and found all of the communities that are about course promotions. Then I went on Facebook and found all of the Facebook groups where you can do online course promotions. Then I went online and found all of the websites. And this took me freaking weeks, but I made this massive document with all of those sites. And obviously, Dennis, yours is certainly one that's come up. And what I've then done is I trained my assistant, basically. I prepared the document with all of the information about my courses, the special codes and everything else. And now every single month, I get my assistant to go on to all of those sites, all of those groups, and promote my course for a discount. And that has really, really worked for me in terms of continued sales. Like I make, not massive, I'm not one of these massive Udemy instructors that makes millions, but I certainly make enough to cover the mortgage, which is pretty damn good. So this is a really simple strategy that you guys can use. Now I know, Dennis, you've got a Udemy, well, not just Udemy, an online course promotion strategy, a checklist, which I'll put the link up for in just a second. And I also have that very list I was just talking about of all of the Facebook groups and everything that I found where you can promote your courses, which I also have available too. So tell us, Dennis, what's your approach to would you advise instructors to do when it comes to promoting your course using discounts? Is discounting good? Is discounting bad? Discuss.
Well, first of all, I think that that's awesome that you did that list. It sounds you went like a lot further than I went. So we need to talk about that. So, because I would like to talk to others who are doing that to find out, to come up with what sites actually are seeing results, because we know there's like Best Black Hat Forum for free coupons and how those kind of go out really quickly, but yet those are not necessarily the audience that an instructor might be looking for. My suggestion is always that you take your niche that you're in. So let's say if you're doing social media marketing, you know, I have my group, which has like over 3,700 members, but if you're just coming in there and throwing out coupons, that's not necessarily the audience that is looking for your type of course, whatever topic it might be. So you have to use something like Facebook or Twitter and go out and find your audience that is appropriate for your course and target those individuals. If you're just throwing coupons out in the wind, it's like you're going to be lucky if it hits the right person, you know? So that's
really
like my
important.
number one suggestion is finding out who your audience is.
At first, when I first started on Twitter, to be honest, I wasn't really sure how to use it. And it's taken some effort. In fact, I learned a lot from Australia Wow. Nathan Haig, who's on there at the moment. Cheers, Nate. You're awesome. I highly recommend people check him out. But what I was realizing I was doing is I had these followers, but they had nothing to do with what I talk about. So when I was putting a promotion out there, it just sort of was tumbleweed. So what I did is I looked up, right, who are my target audience? So I break down job titles. I break down hashtags that I think my audience use. So for instance, I target online course creators like you do, Dennis. So I write down things like hashtag online course, hashtag e-course, hashtag e-learning, hashtag edupreneur is the word I use. I type down job titles like hashtag learning manager, hashtag training manager, and I basically came up with like the biggest list of words I could possibly imagine. Then what I did is I got my assistant to go on to the TweetDeck. So those of you that are not using TweetDeck, this is a really great way to find your target audience. And there's a little magnifying glass on the top left corner. Click that, and you basically start putting in all of those words that you found, and it will bring up all of the tweets that include that hashtag or that word in it. So what you're basically doing is finding your audience. So what I then obviously get my assistant to do is go through and like their statuses or go through and follow them. So eventually now, it's taken me some time, but over a period of about 18 months, I've now got over 10,000 followers that are all and only people that use the hashtags that I target. So now when I post a course promotion coupon up on Twitter, bam, I actually get clicks. So this is how, if you guys are selling and promoting your online courses, like Dan said, you must make sure that they're going out to the people that you are targeting, and using TweetDeck and hashtags that your audience use is one way that I've done that, and it's really worked for me. You still with me, Dennis? He's still there? I think we might have lost Dennis. We've got Nathan from Australia Wow, saying use Twitter ads section to find events. Yeah, this is a great tip I learned from Nathan as well. It's in another blab I've done with him. So you're going into the events in Twitter ads and find events that are really going to help. Sorry, I heard Dennis coming back then. I love it. Nate, do you want to jump in a seat and tell us about your events tip? Because that's I love that one when you shared that with us.
Are you able to see me?
Did you want to call in, Nathan? Don't mind if you don't. Are you there, Dennis?
Are you able to hear me?
Awesome. Yes, you're in. Brilliant. Beautiful.
Can you hear me again?
Yeah.
Okay, this is so weird. It's like I hear you and I see both of us on the screen, but all of a sudden I must like drop or something on your end.
Yeah, That happened to me a minute ago as well. I could still see and hear everything, but I just wasn't there.
Yeah, I know. It's the ghost of Blab.
It is the ghost of Blab. Yeah, so let's continue on with this. Is discounting good conversation? Because this really is, it's such a point of contention, isn't it? And I think, oh, hang on, I've got pop-ups coming up here. Yeah, it really is something that we need to think about very carefully when it comes to promoting a course. And I think, there is a big difference between Udemy type courses and private type courses as to whether or not discounting is good. I think we've all discovered, because Udemy students are used to heavy discounting, that if you don't do them, perhaps you're unlikely to make as many sales. Do you want to continue to tell us about what discounting strategies would you advise, or have you done, or have you seen other instructors have success with? Is there a strategy for you in your eyes?
Well, I don't have like any courses on Teachable myself. I've always kept everything on Udemy, and I'm kind of transitioning over into Skillshare because of the price change on Udemy. A lot of instructors have seen a drop in their sales, and I kind of think that leads to the deep discounting, leads back to the deep discounting that used to go on Udemy, because I'm guilty of that. I used to have a course that had courses for $1 called $1 course coupons, and that website was moving a ton of courses because I'm part of the affiliate marketing program, and I was earning anywhere between $600 to $1,000 a month in income from that. And you can imagine, like, when it's only 40 cents on every dollar that you as an affiliate are making, lots of courses. So I think that you're right. Like, your own courses, I don't think that you necessarily, if you're well known and well established and you have a mailing list and followers, that you don't really need to discount to get people to buy your courses, because they already know the value of your courses. Whereas on Udemy, nobody knows, even if you're somebody who's well established and you go onto Udemy, people who go onto Udemy shopping for courses aren't going to know you from one instructor to the other, unless you're somebody like before in the past there was Alan Hill and Jerry Banfield before they went on to do other things. But like for me, I might have good courses, which I know I do because I get good reviews, but I'm still a small guy, so I have to do discounting to give people deals on my courses in order to hope that they're going to take that and see what I have to offer. So it's just kind of different. Now on Skillshare, it's a little bit different because you can offer free, but their pricing structure is set up differently than Udemy is. So it just depends on really what site and if you're doing it on your own.
Yeah, I agree. We've got an interesting question out there, which I think I'll address now as part of this conversation. Is I see Udemy very, very different to a course platform. I've had this conversation in many blabs before. It's a marketplace. It isn't an LMS. And the way I see Udemy is a way that I get paid to do lead generation. We see people out there putting loads of money into paid advertising. People that either give content away for free, like we're doing right now in a free blab, or they are paying for adverts get in front of their audience. Now, the way I see Udemy personally is the fact that I basically am a product on a supermarket shelf, Udemy being the supermarket. They have literally 11 million people that are walking through that supermarket who might not have a clue who I am, like you said. But because I'm on that supermarket shelf, I get walked by traffic. And I don't care if I only sell my course for $1 or $5. The point is I'm getting paid to get seen by a whole new marketplace, by a whole new audience of people. I actually get paid to advertise. That's the way I see it. So what I do is I put my cheaper taster courses on Udemy. I still make sure I give shitloads of value. Obviously, I want people to go, wow, she was awesome. I want more of her stuff. Then I have my private platforms. Now for you, whether that's a hosted type platform like Teachable, like Thinkific's my favorite, or whether
you get paid for the endorsement.
That's it. or whether you have like a WordPress site, and I'll talk about the difference between the two there, is the big difference, because your private site is where you're going to charge the money. That's where you collect your students' emails. That's where you can promote and deliver your course however you wish.
Yeah.
This is where, when it comes to promoting yourself on a marketplace like Udemy, discounting is brilliant, because if you're seeing it just purely as a lead generation platform, then yes, you just simply want to get people's attention, get them in the door. I personally say don't give your stuff away for free in those platforms, because then you're not going to attract people who are likely to pay you for anything. But when it comes to your private platforms, I would personally, this is only my personal opinion, I'm not saying this is right, my personal opinion is if you discount, people are going to start expecting you to be a discounter, and you're more likely to never sell anything at full price, because people will start to get the mentality of Sarah discounts her shit, so I'll just wait until next time she does a sale instead of paying full price.
Yeah, I'm guilty. I'm guilty of that. I always describe to people a department store here in the U.S. It's called Kohl's. And Kohl's is a large department store with like 1,000 stores, and they do deep discounting, and I won't buy anything at Kohl's for full price, because I know that if I wait, that I'm going to get a coupon offer, in a few days. So that's how a lot of, I don't know how it is in other countries. I would imagine that people are programmed the same way, but as shoppers, we're programmed to look for a good deal. And so it's very tough to get people to buy things at full price. But if you can show them the value, they're definitely going to shell out the money if they know that they're going to get a return on their investment. But again, going back to Udemy, if they don't know me, then I'm going to have to discount. And that goes for a lot of instructors, because you've got people in all different parts of the world who are looking for a way to make an income or to make it big. And so, like you said, Udemy's like, like you said, the analogy with the supermarket, and you're just there on the shelf next to somebody else, and you've got, here I've got my WordPress course versus somebody else. So I've got to do something that entices people to enroll in my course, and that might be offering a discount, having a good landing page, having a good intro video. So there's all of those different elements that come into play.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I'm going to go back to the question that was asked about what's the difference between a marketplace, an LMS, and your own platform in WordPress. It's really just down to people's, the audience that people have, how much time they're willing and want to put into marketing. If you are in a marketplace like Udemy, you have absolutely no control, but you get the walk-by traffic. If you have a hosted LMS like Thinkific or Teachable or one of the many millions of others, there are lots more out there.
Yeah.
But you still have to do your own marketing, but you don't have to do any of the building. Basically, everything's set up for you. All you essentially do is upload your courses. You can rebrand, you can white label, you can put your own URLs and everything in there. Basically, the actual development work itself has been done. When it comes to WordPress, that's for people that perhaps have technical skill, or they have a bit more cash behind them to completely self-host. So they're the main differences between those platforms, really. Yes, so carrying on with discounting strategies, another strategy I've sort of seen, which I'll just chuck out that reminded me of, is never discount downwards, if that makes sense. So basically, I came across this and it really made sense to me, is don't discount for 50% off, for instance, and then next week do a discount for 80% off. Does that make sense? Because then it's even more discount than the one before. So the people who bought it at the larger amount will be really angry at you. So always start off by discount. Just see the way I'm trying to explain this. Always say start off with like the 80% discount, and then 70, then 50, then 40. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, you don't want to upset people with that. Hey, one thing that I wanted to add real quick, like you were talking about the other ways to put your courses out there. One of the biggest things with that is marketing. And the thing that I found out is that people who are teachers or educators who come onto a platform like Udemy are the worst at marketing. And so that's like, the list that you came up with, and me putting out that list is that if you're thinking about doing online courses, Udemy and a site like Skillshare are going to be easier when it comes to somebody who isn't so skilled at marketing. When you go to like Thinkific or Teachable, you better know marketing really well, or you better know somebody that you can pay to market for you. Otherwise, you're just kind of throwing money out the door having your courses like self-hosted like that. And that's why I started off, with Udemy, because not necessarily that I'm not good at marketing. It's just that it was so enticing to be able to just put a course up there and they're bringing the audience to you. And you talked about 11 million. That's huge because they are the largest. When you look at Skillshare, I was just reading earlier that Skillshare has 1.5 million students compared to Udemy's 11 million students. So you kind of have to think about that kind of stuff. But going back to like what you said, like with the discounting, yeah, I mean, sometimes like, like with Udemy, I sometimes feel like I'm forced to go to the 50%, which is the deepest discount that you can do now with the pricing structure, because that brings it down to $10. It's really difficult to get people to spend $10 to take an online course on a site like Udemy, where it's a marketplace and you're an unknown. I mean, I remember spending $150 to take a college course here in the US, and that's just for a course that's like 4 weeks long, 1 night a week. So $10 to me sounds like a pretty darn good deal.
And it's interesting you say this because, there are lots of people out there, like you say, that are trying to compete with other courses on their shelf, if you like. If you're selling a course on Facebook advertising, there are going to be a whole bunch of other Facebook advertising courses that you're competing with. Now, before the pricing change, this meant that people used deep discounting so that their course was cheaper to incentivize people to buy theirs over their competitors. Now, the pricing change means that actually it's very difficult for us to make the advantage by pricing. We now have to make our course stand out by the value that it gives, by the amount of stuff that's in there, by the amount of stuff that's in. So this is really starting to make a difference to the quality of courses that are coming up on Udemy, which I think may have been one of their strategies and reasonings behind this. They wanted to lift up, basically the fact is the better courses now are going to get more students and get more reviews. The not so good courses, the courses with less stuff in them, are eventually going to drop off the scale. So yeah, so there was a point behind where I was going to say that, how we can make our courses stand out. There was a point, I was going somewhere, baby brain.
Yeah, fancy. Well, I was going to say is like one of the reasons why I think Udemy moved away from the deep discounting is it's not possible long term for them to sustain a business, especially when they're based in San Francisco and you have to have a staff of people who are probably paid fairly decent salaries, because San Francisco is not a cheap city to live in. And when you have courses that somebody like an instructor is selling for $1 or $5, and you've got credit card processing fees in there, you've got a server that those courses have to be stored on, it's just not long-term sustainable for them to do business like that. And I think that was one of the reasons why they shifted. Although I do think that they should let instructors go higher as far as the price they charge, where it's capped at $50. And I also think like that the discount should go down to $9 instead of $10. And the reason why I say that is because psychologically, I think to a consumer, that $9 is going to sound like a better value than $10. And so it might be easier for an instructor to push courses at $9 rather than $10.
Yeah, and in fact, I've just remembered now where I was going with that whole point is that, like you said, there are actually some really good courses that are coming out now as a result, because people are having to put so much value in them. You said, $10 to you doesn't sound like a lot, because if you're comparing it to how much you normally pay for education. And I'm someone who pays for these high ticket programs. I have paid 5 figures to go training programs. And actually, in some cases, not in all cases, but in some cases, I've actually got way better courses for $5 on Udemy than I ever have paying 5 figures to these big online, these big marketers, these big training programs. So the fact is, the quality is actually there. It's just how we start training our students to think differently about the price. We're not comparing the price to a good deal. It's actually the value you get to a good deal is sort of our job as an instructor, really, when we're marketing, isn't it?
Yeah, and some of those courses like that you're talking about that are 5-figure courses, those are going to be full-blown courses. And we've had this conversation because I host a mastermind group with several Udemy instructors, including Phil Ebner, who's one of the top instructors on Udemy, earning like over $10,000 a month in income, and has this whole online video school and all of that. And he's got very high quality courses. But one of the things that we've talked about is that the way that our attention span these days is a lot shorter than what it's been. And for me, I want to either read something or watch something that only takes a specific amount of my time for me to learn something. And then I can go on to doing other things, which for me is doing stuff that makes me money. And so I don't want to take like 2, 3, 4 hours to like learn something. And so that's like why Skillshare is kind of like becoming like the go-to place, because you can get bite-sized chunks of information, 15 to 20-minute courses, because people like that, because they want to just learn a specific topic. Like you mentioned, Facebook ads. I'm not an expert at Facebook ads, but I don't want to watch like a 2-hour course on it, because I don't think that full 2 hours is going to be packed full of information that is going to be useful. Only a fraction of that information is going to be useful for me. And so I want courses that are specific and to the point and not drawn out.
Yeah, great. I like it. So it's not always about the length or the duration as such of the course, but it really is about the content. And you can let people know what that is simply by turning some of your lectures to the free preview. If you are using one of the hosted LMSs like Thinkific or Teachable, you can turn some of your lectures to a free preview, as you can also in Udemy. And that's, it's proven, isn't it, time and time again through the research that all these platforms do, that courses that have free samples or free previews available do convert higher, because people are seeing that, they like the way that you teach and the content's good and straight to the point, which is awesome.
Exactly. And a good way to like do that is use a platform like YouTube, which is like, when you think about it, it's owned by Google. So it's like, it's a search engine, and it's one of the top search engines in the world, because anything to do with video is usually going to be found on YouTube. So as a course instructor, if you put bite-sized chunks of your course on YouTube along with a coupon code to direct them to wherever your site might be, that could be, on your personal site if you wanted to give a discount, or Skillshare or Udemy, or any of the number. There's so many different platforms out there. I mean, Udemy and Skillshare are some of the top sites like that, but you can use something like YouTube to drive traffic to those courses, especially if you have a large following. Matt Bernstein and I interviewed Gabby Wallace, who is a digital nomad. And when we talked with Gabby, like about 2 months ago, she had 150,000 followers on YouTube. I went to go post a list of my top 5 blabs, and I looked. She has 197,000 followers on YouTube now. That's huge. That's huge potential to drive traffic to your courses.
Yeah, YouTube's worked really well for me as well doing that. that, just popping up some of the samples. And I always put in the description, this video is an extract from the blah, blah, blah course. Here's the link. And underneath the link, I'll put, and here's a discount one as well. That works really, really well. And another one that's worked really well for me is doing exactly what we're doing now, Dennis, is simply hooking up blabs or webinars with people who have a similar audience to me that are obviously non-competing. I even just looking at my email list has absolutely quadrupled since I really started using this as a strategy heavily only earlier on this year. And it's huge because, I'm talking to, for instance, like I say, my target audience are online course creators. So I thought, well, what do online course creators want to know? How to sell their course using blogs. So I contacted really good bloggers and I said, can I do a blab with you or webinar with you on how we can sell through blogging? How to sell through YouTube. I contact Facebook experts and said, let's do a blab on how online course creators. Do you see what I mean? All of these audiences are shared. So perhaps all the people that are following them may want to create online courses. That means I get exposure. They get exposure to my audience. It's just a fantastic strategy to do these joint venture webinars like this. You and me right now, you're going to get exposure to my audience. I'll get exposure to yours. Everyone comes out a winner. It's brilliant.
Yeah. And Sarah, I was going to say that, like we were talking about YouTube, and the cool thing about Blab is that once you're done, she can upload this to her YouTube channel within a matter of minutes. And I don't know if you know about it, but there's a plugin for WordPress out there that I have on my website that when I'm done with the Blab, it automatically uploads it to my WordPress website.
Wow.
And so that I was doing a top 5 because I was looking at the top 5 blabs, and that's why I mentioned Gabby Wallace, because that blab has had almost 900 views. And so I was just kind of ranking my blabs to put it out as a blog post because, repurposing content is like a big deal in this. This is content that we're doing right now. And so I'll tell you about that plugin when we're done. But it's a really neat tool to make it easy for people like you and I to be able to take this content and share it out there. Because like you said, I'll share this to my followers, you share it to your followers, and everybody benefits from doing stuff like this.
Yeah, just to take that up a level, what I actually do is I'm always thinking, how can I create an email list? How can I, I'm attracting my target audience members. So one of the great things about Blab is when you have finished your Blab, it automatically emails you a copy of the recording of the Blab. So what I do is I then download the recording of this particular Blab and I upload it to my my online school. So I have in my online school, I have a tab called Free Stuff, and I actually have all of my Blabs in the free stuff. So they actually have to enroll in my online school for free to watch my free webinar recordings. So once I've actually got the recording, sometimes what I do, depending which ones it is, I will then make that Blab hidden on Blab so that people can't just view it live. They actually have to go to my website and actually watch the free stuff from my website. So then obviously what I then do is evergreen, is every now and then I'll just promote my different free Blabs or free webinars. So that it gets people into my school, because once they're enrolled in my school, then obviously they start getting the emails from me about information help, and then obviously the odd course promotion and things. So that's just a way that I take this, what we're doing now, something for free, and take it up to actually becoming part of my business funnel.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you know Dave Espino?
Yes.
So one of the things that Dave does and he suggested, and I've done, is you take a Blab like this, and if you're using like a video editing tool like Camtasia, is that you chop it up into different sections. So we might have been talking about the YouTube stuff. So we just take that segment of the Blab and upload that to YouTube. So out of this 1 hour Blab, you've got different chunks of information. The other thing that I've been doing too in the past is that I take a PDF and create a PDF for my website before the Blab starts. So I have a topic and I put all of the resources that are going to be talked about, including coupon links for my courses in that PDF. and my website. So if somebody shares that PDF out to somebody, that all of my information is going to be there, including a link to the replay, because the link for this blab automatically becomes the link for the replay. So, and David said that PDFs are like a huge thing, that people just like having, that information.
I suppose it's like a physical thing that they feel like they've got. So it's because it's tangible, so to speak. They actually feel like they've got something, which is psychologically it's quite a good thing.
Yeah, brilliant. Like your free stuff. If you put out like a PDF with a link to you, even though you put this here in the live chat, the thing is that if you upload this to YouTube, or if people watch the replay, I don't think that they have access. Maybe they do on Blab.
If you're watching it on Blab, you do, but the downloaded video, you don't.
Yeah, they won't. And then the same thing, like you said, that you take the audio and you put that out there. So one of the things that Matt Bernstein had been doing, we had the Blab Make Money Online show, is that he would take the audio and upload it to a podcast website. And we use Stitcher Radio and iTunes. So our Blabs are actually a podcast too, that are out there for people to listen to on Stitcher. And but yet they don't have access to some of the things that you would see as you're watching it here on Blab. But there's so many ways that you can repurpose that stuff. And if you do the right thing with like what we're talking about with coupons, as long as you're thinking like every time that you're sharing that information out there, if you want to offer coupons to people who take that you want taking your course, then make sure that you're putting those out there everywhere that you're sharing your content.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that depends on the way that you're approaching your marketing. Like for instance, one of my courses is how to create courses, and my Udemy version, it will take you through the whole process, but it's more an information level. And then my version on my private school is like twice as long. It's got all the activities, it's got the templates to fill in as you go along and so on. So I always try and get as many people into the Udemy version via discounting as I possibly can. And then what you're allowed to do in Udemy is your very last lecture, you can actually make a promotion of anything. So that's when you can use it, as long as you put the word bonus at the end, before it. For instance, I say bonus what's next. Then you guys, if you're using this strategy, you can use that to then promote your bigger course at the end as well. So that's one of the strategies that we use. People then use their educational announcements, so their promotional announcements, to share their coupons to their existing students. Which is another great strategy, isn't it, with the couponing technique to make more sales.
You have to be careful with that, especially with the educational announcements, because a friend of mine actually got slapped by Udemy for a educational announcement that had great educational information, including like a 10-minute video. And at the end, he had like a link to a coupon for his Udemy courses. And he actually got his hand slapped for that. And I thought that was kind of wrong, because it's like you're promoting your course, even though educational shouldn't be too salesy. He was giving out some great information. And I thought about that. I sent out a link to my students with that list of 5 top blabs. And if you go to those blabs, all of the instructors that I have interviewed, I have hyperlinked to their profiles on Udemy. So that could be considered a little salesy. And so you really have to pay attention to the rules, because you don't want to lose that privilege that you have. But that's one of the benefits of having your own site, is you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, that's it. I think it's worth the extra effort in my sales and marketing, because there are just no rules. Whatever you want to do, you can do. I'm just going to post the links to all of Dennis's pages where you can promote your own course coupons. So I'm just going to pop those over there in the right hand side now. If you're watching the recording of this, there will be a link underneath where you can click on all of these links. But we've got his online course coupons site, his free courses daily group, online course promotion group, and Udemy course discounts. So whether you're a learner, a student, or a seller and an online instructor, all of those are awesome to either get free courses or discounted courses or to promote your own. So they are awesome. I'm in them. I love them to bits. You
get more promotions than for your courses.
We've also got onlinecoursefactory.com as well. Dennis offers reviews of people's Udemy courses and landing pages. That's also worth checking out if you want to put your link in there, Dennis. So yeah, as we're closing up, do any of you do have any questions that you want to throw at us before we wrap up in this particular area? While we're waiting for some questions to come in, I've got a Facebook group called Entrepreneur to Edupreneur. In there, I share all kinds of videos and tips about how to create and sell your online courses. And I've also got an offer for you guys. I have that sheet I was talking about with all of the list of groups, places and sites to promote your courses. That actually comes free as part of my online course, How to Promote, Market and Sell Your Online Course, which you can get free if you buy the How to Create Your Own Course. That was like really complicated, wasn't it? Basically, click on that link at the bottom and you get a free course and you get all of that document in there.
That's awesome. And hey, we'll have to share that group of yours out onto my group to let people know about that.
Thanks, Dennis. That's awesome. Any questions coming in? We haven't got any coming in. So
Bueller, anyone?
Yeah. Anything you'd like to leave us with, Dennis? I mean, any final tips?
Well, I guess like if you're someone who's new to teaching online, learn the stuff that Sarah offers and I offer, marketing advice through my group and my blabs and stuff like that. So learn that stuff, absorb it like a sponge. That way, when you're ready to release your course, you can start building that anticipation before you launch your course. And teach.udemy.com is an awesome website for those of you who might be interested in learning more about Udemy and teaching courses on there. Teach.udemy.com. Teach.udemy.com. So it's just they've got marketing information, they've got course launch information, they've got coupon information, all of that kind of stuff that an instructor would need to get started. And I think that they're a good platform to get started on, even though, things have changed since I've started. There's always going to be change no matter what it is that you do in life. So you just got to be open and always looking ahead, not short term, long term. You have to be focused on the long term goals. That's just like the stock market. People who play the stock market, you need to play it for the long haul and not the short haul. So
love it. Brilliant.
There's my 5 cents worth of advice.
Definitely. I guess my closing tip will be just about when it comes to free coupons. Look, this strategy works, but think very carefully about why you're using the strategy. If you're just looking to get yourself out there, then it can be a really great strategy to use. If you're looking to make money, think twice about that particular strategy. I see a lot of online instructors saying stuff like, I've got 20,000 students, and I say, okay, well, show me a revenue report, and they've got $20 in their bank account. If you're giving out your course for free, you're going to attract people that like free stuff. So be careful about using that particular strategy if you're looking to actually make money. Free isn't always the best. If you're adding people to a mailing list, for instance, because you're giving out free stuff, you are paying for those people to be on your mailing list. If you're using something like MailChimp and you're having to pay by the number of people that are on your list, just think, do I want people on my list who are likely to buy from me in a while, or am I just going to have a bunch of people that are costing me money waiting for the next free thing that I give away? So there we go.
That's good advice. A lot of times we don't think about that if you're giving away something for free, that's what people are going to expect. But you can give good quality free information to drive people into some of your paid stuff too.
To the right audience, yeah.
Yes.
Free is brilliant. If it's a targeted audience, they're more likely to know target. Definitely. Dennis, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Sarah.
All of Dennis's links are here for you to go and join his groups. I highly recommend them. They're fantastic. And if any of you got any questions, you want to follow us up further, you can join my Facebook group, sarahcordner.com. And thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody. And just real quick, you can find me at dennisjsmith.com. Have a great evening, day, or whatever it is now.
Yeah, that's it. We're in two opposite sides of the world, so we've got a day and a night going on. Thank you, Dennis.
Thanks.
See
Bye.
ya. Bye.